I'd like to welcome everybody to the very first episode of Heelz to Faces. On this episode, we'll be covering the WWE Payback pay-per-view. To start off the pay-per-view, the first match of the main card was the Intercontinental title match between defending champion Wade Barrett against Miz and Curtis Axel. I thought that match was overall, pretty good match. They gave the IC title match a little more time than it seems like they have in the past. Really, kind of back and forth the whole way, obviously. But the end of the match was really cool because the Miz puts Wade Barrett in the figure four, and then when Wade Barrett, goes to lay back, and the ref would initially start counting the 1, 2, 3 when his shoulders touch, Curtis Axel covers him and thus wins the Intercontinental title, which I thought was great because that was a belt that his dad had held, and so really happy that they put the belt on Curtis Axel.
Yep. Second matchup on the Payback pay-per-view was Dean Ambrose against Kane for the United States title. Felt honestly like it was a kind of a botched match. Ambrose retained off a count out. Really wasn't pay-per-view quality. Felt it was like something we could see on a Raw or a SmackDown, and it just didn't really do anything for me. Not really missing anything if you didn't get a chance to see it.
The third match, we had Dolph Ziggler trying to defend his title against Alberto Del Rio. This was Dolph Ziggler's first singles match since being back from his concussion that he suffered about 6 weeks ago. This match was very disappointing. Every wrestling fan loves Dolph Ziggler. He's one of the best wrestlers out right now. And basically all the match was Del Rio kicking Dolph in the head over and over and over again, really playing out the concussion line. The Chicago crowd was really good towards Dolph, cheering for him the entire time. They were definitely not in favor of Del Rio. But I guess WWE expected this, and they were trying to plot out some kind of Del Rio to heel, Ziggler to face kind of turn. That's what the feel of the match was. Match ended when Del Rio super kicked a sitting Dolph in the head and pinned him clean. Del Rio came back out after he won the title and gave a little rant, got booed the entire time. So we'll see where WWE takes this, but just a terrible match.
I just want to say this. I think it's a travesty that you have somebody with the caliber of talent that Dolph Ziggler possesses, and that's how you book that match.
Yep. You
make him wait a year almost to cash his title, his Money in the Bank in, and that's how the payoff for the payoff is. He holds it, for basically a month, and that almost makes me wonder if they were just going to have him win it from the start, not get concussion. If he hadn't got a concussion, and he would have just dropped it at Extreme Rules. That's just terrible writing, and I'm just that really just kind of put a big black cloud over the evening. But the next match on the card was the long-awaited return of CM Punk versus Jericho. It was CM Punk's first match back since his match at WrestleMania 29 against The Undertaker. Really kind of, to be honest with you, I wasn't shocked, but I was kind of surprised at the reception that the crowd gave. Obviously he got a very big welcome, but it wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be considering he had been gone for 2 months. Obviously he got a hero's welcome because he was home, but it wasn't what you would, assume that it was going to be. And honestly, I'm a huge fan of Punk, but at first, when you could tell he had some ring rust, there were some moments where I don't want to say that it was rushed or it didn't fit. There was just moments where it didn't seem like him or Jericho were hitting their strides and they weren't gelling right. There were a couple spots that kind of looked, funny, and then about the 10-minute mark, it seemed like both of them kind of hit their stride, and then we were off to the races. Really, really, really good match. I don't think it was as good as their street fight they had at Extreme Rules in 2012. But it was a good match. Lots of back and forth. You didn't know who was going to win. There were several times that you didn't know what was going to happen. And then you had the finish coming with CM Punk GTSing Jericho, and then Jericho hitting the turnbuckle and then coming back, and then getting GTS'd again with Punk getting the victory, which I was really happy to see that Punk got the victory. On a side note, during that match, at one point, whenever you thought that Jericho was about to win, Paul Heyman jumps up on the turnbuckle and Punk kind of pushes him down. And then at the end of the match, he don't push him down, he just yells at him to get down. And then at the end of the match, you kind of see Punk mouth moving that he can do it on his own. So I think that's going to build toward a Punk Heyman separation, and maybe like a Punk Brock Lesnar match at SummerSlam, which would be awesome. So we'll see how that goes. That could be just hearsay, but overall, that was, in my opinion, the Punk Jericho match, which no shock to anybody, was the best match of the night, in my opinion.
It was definitely refreshing to see CM Punk back. He's been gone for 2 months, and wrestling has just not been the same since after WrestleMania. The only person that's really been carrying the company, in my opinion, would be Daniel Bryan as far as wrestling in the ring goes. It's good to see Punk back and get back on what we had before WrestleMania.
Well,
I agree.
the 5th match of tonight's pay-per-view was the other 2/3 of the Shield going up against Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton. Nothing really too spectacular there with that match. You'd seen everything before with Daniel Bryan and Kane. All their mishaps, bad workmanship. You're seeing it with Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton. It's written that way. That's how it's supposed to be portrayed. I get it. We've seen it before. Let's move on. Get something fresh. Get something new. The Shield did retain. Rollins curb stomped Daniel Bryan, then pinned him. The match was over. Not really anything great pay-per-view quality, but it was a decent match.
Good thing is we could be seeing an Orton heel turn here soon. At least that's what they've been hitting at. Orton has been kind of stagnant here his past year or so. They've kept him face, but they really haven't done anything with him. So hopefully us fans can see him come out and do what he does best. For tonight's main event, we had John Cena coming in defending his WWE Championship against Ryback in a 3 Stages of Hell match. With the first fall was a lumberjack match, and the way that ended was John Cena getting pinned by Ryback after a shell shock. But the second fall was a tables match when John Cena AA'd Ryback through a table. He picked up that one. And then basically the same ending with the third fall, which was an ambulance match. Instead of a table that Ryback went through, it was the roof of an ambulance. Now, I don't know about you guys, but we found that pretty hard to believe that anybody could do that. And we think WWE is getting a little crazy and out of hand with the gimmicks that they're giving John Cena. We think it's crazy that he's getting these ridiculous stipulations in matches just because he can't carry himself in a normal singles match. Give everybody, what true wrestling fans, what they want, a real technical match. Just because John Cena, 5 moves of doom, and then that finisher, it's not going to get anything done for us.
I don't really think that the match was a bad idea. Unlike most matches that they do now, that was kind of like the first we've seen that, I think, since 2002 with Shawn and Triple H at Armageddon, I believe. But I don't hate the match stipulation. I just hate how the match was laid out. I hate to sound like a bitchin' fan, but I mean, first fall was okay. Second fall was good. I mean, I thought their Extreme Rules match was really good actually up until the finish. I was really surprised with both of them. The ambulance falling apart was just, man. You'd almost be better off driving yourself to the hospital if that's how ambulances are put together, because they nudged the door, it broke. And then, the attitude adjustment through the... I mean, that's just ludicrous. I mean, crazy. I didn't know that ambulance was put together by wood, apparently, but, man, that was a bit drastic. But I'm not a big fan of Cena, and I thought that match was really just rushed, I guess is the best way of putting it. Because you know that Ryback can go. He's had some good matches with Daniel Bryan, and that kind of like the Cena. I hate to give him credit, but he has been able to go at times. He went that with CM Punk before WrestleMania, and then he had that good match with Ryback at Extreme Rules, I thought, anyways. And then I don't know, man. This match just seemed rushed to me.
Yeah. I don't really know what they're really doing with Ryback here. It's kind of like they want to put him up for a push, and they're putting him in these big matches.
But he doesn't win them.
It's
the WrestleMania finish with Mark Henry was awful. I don't know if they know what they're doing with Ryback or Dolph Ziggler really at this point. But what can you do? We keep buying them and they keep throwing shit at us. But unfortunately, that's all we've got this week. for Heelz to Faces. We hope that you enjoyed the show. We'll put a couple email addresses in the information links. You can tell us that we're fat and losers. But if anybody has any questions about any kind of questions they might have for us, anything like that, any kind of ideas, we're open to them, and we hope that you enjoyed it. And thanks for watching. I hope to see you next time we have one.
Like and subscribe.
Thanks, guys.